Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Woo. Welcome to the Hump Day installment of the Two
Oh,
Dum Yinzers. This is episode 457. How you doing this morning, Mike?
I'm doing great. Wired. I've been going on. I've been up since like 10 o'clock last night. I'm rocking and rolling and ready to go.
Nice.
Yes, I would say I'm fired up, but I'm really not.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make it through the day, make it through the episode, bring the energy, what I got. So
I wonder if your boy, I wonder if Derpy's gonna show up for work today.
you know what? I hope so. I hope he does because I need someone to carry my end of the conversation.
And I got things here too. I mean, on top of the picks that we decided we finalized
Yeah.
yesterday, and just other things here that could totally bring Derpy into conversation. So maybe he's busy getting ready for the big game,
Could be, could be.
but he did throw in yesterday as we were going off the air that he's probably going to be going to the Cincinnati game instead of the New England game. So
No way.
yeah, so I don't know what his deal is.
You know what? Derpy marches to the beat of his own drummer. Yeah, I've noticed that with him.
Yeah. Um,
He's an odd cat, and I like it.
we got to work on his sign. We gotta tell him exactly how it has to look.
Exactly, exactly.
Can't just have him going up because I can see Derpy. He's gonna have all these ideas, like he wants to put Tom Brady's face on it for some reason, and just I mean, he needs our help, obviously, and he can't put like all that stuff and then put our name like in pencil where you can't, you know
No,
what I
no,
mean?
no. We can't do that. We cannot do that.
This is a whole branding strategy, and
Yeah, we don't want Derpy to mess it up.
yeah,
Like I'd mess it up.
yeah, that's what
So
I'm saying. I mean, not that he would mess it up, but I would like to put all of our focus and energy on that way he could brand
yeah, yeah. He need
correctly.
yeah. Have two dumb yinders prominent on there.
Because he'll be the one that makes it on TV.
Yeah, and it's not no one will be able to read the sign.
Right. It'll say all you'll see is Brady,
Yeah.
the
Like,
name
oh,
Brady.
look at this young Steelers fan here who likes Tom Brady.
Oh man, Color Rush. You're
I
going with
saw
the
that.
Color Rush uniforms, Mike, and they're 7-2 while wearing these uniforms. Also, they have the end zones painted yellow. I think that they should be okay for the rest of the year with that paint because nobody will be
No,
touching the end
no,
zone, in
no
my
one's going to be
opinion.
touching it. No, definitely not the Steelers. So like only one end zone's going to be so twice. If our defense gives up some
I don't
touchdowns,
think the New England's
each.
going to do much scoring either,
Yeah, I
man.
know either. What's them blow us out? Well, I don't know. Did you see the script was leaked, man? The scoreboard had Pittsburgh 20, the Patriots 16 at the end of the fourth, already on the scoreboard. So they're
No,
getting
but
those
I
numbers ready. I
I
don't think
did.
I don't think either team's going to score 20 points. I don't think there's going to be 20 points total.
Well, you and the rest of the world, because the over under on this is 30 points, like 30 points for two
Jeez.
teams. So also on top of the yellow end zones and the color rush unis, they are calling for a blackout. So if you do go to the game tomorrow night, be sure to wear all black and make it look awesome. Got to do whatever we can to beat Bill
Dress
Belichick.
dress for a funeral. So Yinzers, wear what you normally wear. Wear your jorts and your Steelers jersey, but make sure it's the black Steeler jersey and the black jorts.
And I did get
And I'm
some,
only saying that because I got a pair. I probably do have a pair of black jorts I can throw on with my jerseys.
and I did get inside information from somebody that does a show up in the New England area yesterday. And I mean, this is
Oh,
information that I could have found out myself. However, New England's defense has been one of the best over the last month, Mike.
yeah.
Let me put it to you like this: since week nine, the New England Patriots have only given up 46 points. The
Hmm.
next best team is San Francisco with 49.
Yeah.
They literally are the best team as far as not giving up points over the past month. It breaks down like this: the Patriots, who have an 0-4 record in that time period, have only given up 46 points.
Yeah. It isn't it something like in the last three games, it's 26 points they've given up and or something along those lines.
Number two, San
There's
Francisco, who's had a
nuts.
4-0 record in that time
Yeah.
period, they've given up 49 points. Miami, um, they've given up 62 and they have a 3-1 record. Baltimore's given up 66 and they have a 3-1 record. And Indianapolis has only given up 67 points, who has a 4-0 record in that
Oh
time.
my.
Two 4-0s and two 3-1s. And then the
Yeah.
Patriots, who lead the way, they have given up the least amount of points,
Yeah.
0-4.
That's that offense, man. That offense is terrible. They do not have a quarterback. Mac Jones is not the guy. Zappy is not the guy. God, isn't their running back hurt? So I think their receiving core is banged up as well. So it's going to be both punters and both kickers, get your legs warmed up, boys. I think you're going to be doing the heavy lifting.
And people talk about how soft our schedule is down the down the road here. And I mean,
Record wise, yeah, but
well,
once you
but
like you said, once you dig into it,
well,
I
it's
don't
not even
know.
record wise anymore because again, the Indianapolis Colts are in that top five, the Baltimore
Yeah,
Ravens are in that top five, and New England
yeah,
is in that top five.
yeah,
That's on defenses alone. And the passing leaders for this past weekend, Mike, Jake Browning was number one with
yeah.
359. Geno Smith was number two with 334. And Gardner Minshew was number four on this list with 312. So if you look at these performances, it's going to be a lot more difficult than people think. And I don't know, Mike. I'm starting to get a little worried.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't have any faith in Mitch, but I don't think the team has much faith in Mitch.
Yeah, like that weird the comment from Najee.
And we're gonna, yeah, that's where I was
That's
going.
that was like that threw me off. I think our receivers and tight ends might be the ones that more excited because they know Mitch is going to be like, Deontay, George, Mute's down there somewhere. Let me just heave it down there.
I don't know.
He'll take the shot.
I
But
don't even know if it's gonna get to that. I just, I'm like, you gotta,
it was weird to hear those comments. I
you
have a
gotta,
theory.
you gotta figure that neither of these teams are gonna be passing that much. I wouldn't guess that.
I don't
Just
know,
because
like
New England's defense is so good, they're playing
they
such
and
good football.
their
Like
run
they're playing
defense is
the best football over the past month, the best.
yeah, and their run defense is really stout too.
So it's
On
going to
top
be
of it, it's going to be
9-6, 9 to. And here's the thing: New England will probably score on us just because they do. This is what they do. So maybe give them a touchdown and two field goals, maybe 13 points. Pittsburgh, we might be able to get a touchdown. I think this is listen, it's going to be 16-13, whoever wins this game in overtime. It's
yeah.
going to go to OT 13-13, and the winner will win 16-13. That's my guess. And I don't even have a guess who it's going to be. It's up in the air. I hope it's our team,
Hmm.
but my prediction right now, 16-13 overtime for one of these teams.
You know what? I can see it. Coming down to that last second field goal, and like you said, their defense, they're seventh in yards, or no, eighth in yards. Excuse me, 310 yards of offense they give up. So stingy defense, and like you're saying, like their point totals the last couple of weeks, man, stingy as well. It's going to be a tough one, and
I mean, you see how he played against poor offenses last week. They were able to
yeah,
move the ball, and that's one thing that I think that New England, for some reason, will find ways to move the ball at some
yeah.
point. We might come out in the first drive and have that dominant look where we're
Hmm.
rushing Zappy and his throws aren't any good. But as games go on, those teams, they adjust to us and make their revisions, and then they tend to move the ball where we have a little
Yeah,
bit more trouble making that adjustment. I
yeah.
noticed than other teams do. So I think that New England eventually they're going to be able to move the ball somewhat, and that's where I attribute their points coming from.
I can see that, but I don't know. I think this team is I think the team was humbled and they're gonna come out Saturday. Geez. That's not this week. At the Saturday game, but no, I think they're gonna come out tomorrow night and they're gonna look like a team on a mission, the Steelers are. I think they're gonna, they realized, they done effed up last week and that they want to right the ship as best they can, as far as the talent will dictate. And I think even though their defense that they're playing against is going to be damn good defense, but I just have a feeling we're going to find a way. They're going to find a way to pull this one out.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, your assessment. I can't. I don't know if they were humbled. They seem to be humbled, but this team this year, it's all over the road. It's been all over the road since day one,
Yeah,
and I'm having a really hard time getting a read. I mean, naturally, you would think that that's where they would be. They would be been humbled
yeah.
by a game where a two-win team comes to town and beats you. But I don't know. It's hard to get a read from this squad, man.
It is too, and it's kind of it's worrisome, but I find it kind of exciting too because you don't know what team you're going to get. Like a lot of the players are saying the right things, like they're taking accountability into the media, but can we see it out on the field? Will like the play translate? Will the execution translate? Do they know what they? It sounds like they know what they need to fix, do they have the talent or the ability to fix it? I think that's going to be the issue.
Yeah, I agree. Good morning, Brian. On the board, Brian says special teams and defense can score and set up scores. Otherwise, I don't see either offense driving the ball and getting it done in the end zone. You know what? That's where I'm at too, Brian. I don't know. I'm not getting a good read. The only read that I'm getting from this game is these guys are terrible. We're not that good. We're going through some shit right now with some position, some guys. The read I'm getting is it's going to be something like a 16-13 field goal at the end of the game, maybe go to overtime. We haven't had one of those yet this year. That's in the books. I could see us going to an overtime game here over the next few weeks. But it's going to be exactly what you guys are saying. I think that it's going to be very low scoring. It's going to be very boring. And the only people that's going to be on the edge of their seats are people from Pittsburgh and people from New England.
Yeah, or here's what could happen. Mitch goes down. Who comes riding in?
Helmet Head.
Helmet Head comes riding in, and he goes, you know what? F all the doubters. F everyone. And he slings it down there for 4 touchdowns. He will be the second half Josh Dobbs, baby.
I would like it. A lot of people would like it. And you know what? Now's the time. If either of these guys really want to show their worth and prove that they're more than what they have been, now's the time to stand up. You did stand around on the sideline, but you know what? There's a lot of other guys who's also in that situation. And they stepped up and been able to make plays in this league from that backup position. So
it would be nice to get one of these two to do it. I don't care who it is.
And I don't care. No, I don't care who it is.
Mitch, even if they're probably in his ear saying, hey, we're going to want you to protect the ball, Mitch is going to go out there and sling it. He's a gunslinger. He doesn't have the ability that like Ben had or Brett Favre had, but he's still a gunslinger nonetheless. And you know what? We might get blown out because he's probably thrown 3 or 4 picks, but God damn it, will it be exciting? Yes. Will it be frustrating? Yes, but I think it will be exciting just to watch it. He's going to launch one back. You're like, oh, this is going to be a beautiful pass. Camera pans, 3 defenders down there, easy pick. I hope that's not the case, but I don't know. I'm starting to talk myself into like we're going to put up some points in this game.
See, this is what you do.
I do. I get myself
in this game where it's more than likely that we're not going to score many. Is where you think that we're going to score many.
I think we're going to come out and we're going to light it up. They're going to see what worked in that Cincinnati game, and I think with the short week they're just going to keep it simple, stupid. And Mitch, what are your plays are you most comfortable with? And we're going to run with that.
And what is 16-13? Something right around this score that puts you 1 point beneath 30, which is the over/under on this game. And you know what? The people in Vegas, I'm not into gambling, but that has to mean something being that close or above or below. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with 16-13 is going to be my final count on this game. Again, just depending on how the end of the game plays out is who I think is going to win. I can't make a confident call at this point. If we had Kenny, and Kenny again is nothing great, but if we had him, I would be a little bit more confident that we would be able to do something. But you know what?
Because he'll protect the ball better than Mason would or Mitch will.
And turnover in this game could lead to bad things. It could go either way.
Yeah.
If a guy picks sixes or scoops and scores something like this, then we're already in a hole that's going to be hard for us to get out of because we're not quite sure where we're at as an offense. And
the defense is looking shaky too, man. We're all the injuries starting to stack up, especially in the middle of that field. And the inside backers, that's where all the communication comes from. And that's, when we had a little bit of trouble when, beginning of the year with the communication, then we got it good. Then we started losing backers, and we saw it last week, man. Once the Landon went down, the communication was a mess.
Well, from the injury report as of yesterday, Landon Roberts and Ciamalo were limited at practice. It's a possibility that these two guys play. However, the new one that popped up on the list is the Najee Harris, who did not participate in practice yesterday. I'm not sure exactly what his injury is, but those are the
running up the mouth.
Yeah, those are the main injuries at this point. I'd like to see Landon Roberts get back in here at this point. And you know what? If Landon Roberts comes in and re-upsets an injury at this point in the year, say we take this loss tomorrow, you know what? I don't really mind because we're heading on a free fall. If we just lose 2 consecutive games to 2 win teams. So I say, give it everything tomorrow. You got to get this. When you got to beat New England, you got to be able to win this football game. If you lose to the Cardinals and you lose to the Patriots in consecutive weeks, you do not belong in the playoffs.
No, you don't. You don't. And you can't use injuries as an excuse. Everyone has injuries at this point. Do they play a factor? Yeah. Are they going to play a huge factor? Yeah, but you can't use that excuse, like you said. We've been able to find backups to get plug and play and kind of just move along. And you're hoping that your backup quarterback can come in. He's not that far along from removed from being a starting quarterback, can come in and just keep the offense moving. Yeah, not that it's been a great pace, but just keep it going, limit the mistakes, and just do what you have to do to try and pull out the win.
I just don't see any kind of pace at all in this game. It just seems like it's going to be a
It's going to
big
be a
clump
sloppy
of,
game, and it's going to be one play here or there that's just going to
yeah.
a fluke, kind of like a tip pass is going to be picked off, and that's going to be the right there pick six to end it or some shit like that.
Najee Harris seemed severe lack of confidence is the way that people were putting it. And Mitch Trubisky had a week 14 is the wording that was used.
Mm-hmm.
When asked about the leadership style of Mitch Trubisky, Najee Harris says, it's fine, I guess. Yeah, it's fine. And then followed up by when asked to describe Mitch's leadership, Najee responds, vocal, I guess.
Like, because I'm trying to picture this in my head because I haven't seen any video of it, just the what's been reported. If you watched any videos with Najee, you can sometimes see the way he doesn't want to be there. You can tell he's there
Right.
because he has to be. So he didn't like the
But on the other hand,
question. So
sometimes he
that's the
seems
way
like a
he
really
gave it.
social guy, and he seems
Yeah,
like a
but
lot of,
yeah, but then sometimes he doesn't. Even if how hard is it to give the boilerplate sports answer, the athlete answer?
But I think
Mitch is a
that's
good
what's
leader.
wrong with
He's been
sports
there
today.
with us. Hey, Mitch has been there. He's been involved.
On one hand, though, wouldn't you say that's kind of what's wrong with sports today is giving the political answer instead of what's giving your honest thoughts? Or do you think the team should and players should
No,
continue
no. Like
giving
I've
that
always,
political answer to keep everything on the
I like. Normally, I want that. I want the athlete to say what's on their mind.
right?
But when your backup quarterback's coming in because your starting quarterback's hurt, toe the company line like, hey man, things are gonna be all right, man. He's been there for 2 years now.
Guy was an
Man,
all
bitches,
pro. The guy was a top five pick. How
yeah,
can this
like
guy not
say,
be
yeah, like just talk it up so it doesn't become a distraction. You may not like the premise of the question, may be insulted by it, but like, hey, Mitch is a guy on the team. He was a team captain before. He knows what's up. Mm, I'm hoping
Mitch?
that's what it was. I'm
Should
hoping he was
really
just
want to get out there and
annoyed.
prove his point. Mitch Trubisky, even if he doesn't plan on being a Steeler for much longer,
Yeah,
or whatever, I don't know.
just
But
like
he should
say some.
really, because he's going to want to have a career in the
Yeah,
NFL after this season.
and I think Mitch is going to come out firing.
I hope he does.
I
I
hope he
hope he
does too.
does. I hope he throws
Because
for 300 yards. And,
I would said the same thing when Kenny was in there. I wanted Kenny to throw for all these yards and win games because to me the Steelers is more important than the name on the back of the jersey.
absolutely.
So if Mitch can go out there,
I cheered for a lot of bad quarterbacks in my life. Believe me.
Bobby Brister, Kent Graham, Jim Miller, you guys don't know. You people didn't live through that stuff. We did.
Also, one that I did forget to add when we were speaking of injuries, Montrevious Adams will be back versus New
Yes, I
England.
saw that.
That's a big hand. That's
Yeah.
that's a nice position player that we need back in defense,
More
and I
more
think that's
depth
kind of big. Yes,
that we
yes,
can rotate more guys in, keep guys fresh.
absolutely, man. Cam Hayward is our nominee once again for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. Walter Payton, Mike, Man of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they picked this, but you know what? It seems like Cam Hayward is the
Every
candidate
year.
every year.
Every year.
It's just going through the motions at this point.
He does a lot of charity work. Don't get me wrong, great work, but there's other guys on the team that do a lot of charity work. Give them some recognition, Walter Payton people.
Mike, I have some fun numbers. We didn't do fun numbers yesterday just because the way the week went.
Yeah.
This, as of the other day, the Steelers were at 70 something percent to make the playoffs. 70,
like 74, 75,
yeah,
76 in their range.
76% probability.
Yeah.
Let me give you the official, now updated, all 32 teams ranked by playoff probability with 5 weeks to go. I'll start from the bottom and go to the top. We all know that the Carolina Panthers have been eliminated. They have zero chance to make the playoffs this year.
And don't have their own first round draft pick. I love it.
You got
Chicago's like, hell yeah, baby.
Now, the next 4 teams, they are given a 0% chance
at
making the playoffs according to this playoff probability sheet. Mike, do you want to take a stab? There's four of them. Do you want to take a stab and see if you could guess who any of them are? Four. There's four teams that have a 0% chance probability as
Um,
we speak.
Arizona,
Arizona is correct.
New England.
New England is correct.
Can't be anyone from the NFC South because that division isn't
That is
crap.
correct.
Um, there's the only two that are coming to the Jets.
The Jets is correct. And one more team is given a 0% chance, which I think is kind of crazy. The last team on the list has a
I
0% chance, according to the
I
list,
can't think.
that has a 0% chance of making the playoffs. Is the
Commanders,
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Wow,
0%.
that's.
That's what it has.
Let me
The
see
next,
their. Yeah, 4-8. Yeah, they have to overcome a lot in the AFC.
see, I thought they were closer,
Still,
but I guess it's the
yeah,
Colts that's playing better right now out of those
yeah,
two.
yeah.
The next team, like with a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs is the Giants. Next, with the 0.4, the Raiders. Now we're above zero.
Yeah.
Everybody else has more than at least a 0 point something chance, according to this playoff probability sheet with 5 weeks left in the NFL. With a 1.1 chance of making the playoffs, Mike, the Chicago Bears.
I I would love to see them just win out the rest of the year.
I was telling a guy last night that I work with. This team is never good.
No.
There was one time in 1985, but with the exception of that, in your whole life, do you remember the Bears? Okay, let's throw in the '07 Super Bowl if you want to. But
Yeah.
I mean, has this team really ever been good in your life? I mean, think about it.
No, they'll have they'll be competent. They'll make the playoffs though, but they're never seen as a threat.
Right.
But I tell you what though, man, they have some good young talent on this team, and it's just
But
I just
every time they
don't.
get young talent, it goes elsewhere and becomes
Yeah,
talent.
I think they're gonna start pulling the plug on Justin Fields this year. I think they're gonna draft a quarterback in the first round, even though when he's in there, he's showing signs of improving. DJ Moore, every single touchdown pass he's had this year, all six of them have been from Justin Fields. DJ Moore's a damn good young receiver, and his best years have been this year. And Chicago's going to pull the plug because they're impatient.
Now we're the 1.1% chance of making the playoffs. Now we're going to jump up everything else. Everybody else has at least a double-digit
Okay.
percent. So the next team is with a 12.6% chance of making the playoffs is the Denver Broncos, 12.6% chance. And I'm sure they're making a case over the past month as well.
Oh yeah, they're climbing up.
Really impressive what they're doing out there after giving up 70 points in a game.
That was hey man, you got to hit rock bottom.
Cincinnati is the next on the list, just 1 point above him, 12.7.
If Browning keeps playing the way he does, man, that might change.
14.1% chance of making the postseason is the Chargers.
Now Brandon Staley, that should just be a 0% chance.
Now we're up in the 20%. Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills have a 21.3% chance.
I think that team is toast.
Tampa Bay above them with a 26.3.
AFC South, maybe anything's possible.
Or Seattle, 27.1. And finishing out the 20-some percent is the New Orleans Saints with the 28.4. 28.4.
Once again, the NFC South.
With a chance to make the postseason. We're going to blow through the 30s. No team has a 30-something percent chance. The next team has a 43.1% chance. That's the Rams. The Rams have 43.1%. Then up to 49.7% chance of getting into the playoffs is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, they're number 2.
Everything now is over 50%. So everybody that we haven't mentioned is going to be 50% or higher with their probability of making the postseason this season, this NFL season. The next team on the list is the Pittsburgh Steelers with a 55.8% chance.
Ooh.
Dropped about 20 after the Cardinals lost, but you know what?
But then other teams around us lost too, so that was good.
Listen to these next 5 teams. There are teams that we either played or beat. Again, with the soft schedule, here we go. Indianapolis, they have a 56.5% chance of making the postseason. We still have them on the list.
Yep.
Cleveland with a 66.2. We've played them twice.
Yep, split the series.
Green Bay with a 67% chance we played and beat. The Houston Texans, Mike, they have a 69.4% chance of making the postseason. We played them. And finally, the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's a nice jump now. It goes from the 60s up to the 90s.
Ooh.
The Jaguars have a 94.7% chance of making the postseason. Those five teams we either played and beat.
Mhm.
So again, people keep throwing these it's
Accusations. But
accusations, but you know what? We're in the middle of the pack. You know what I
yeah.
mean? We don't have it any easier, or any harder than anybody else. I don't
No,
think at this
like
point.
if you look at like people's records from last year, yeah, it's a soft schedule, but the way they're playing now, the teams that we played some pretty decent schedule. And like you
Uh,
said, decent schedule coming up too of the opponents.
and that's the thing. It's the schedule is what it is. It's just the matter of the Steelers are up to up to the challenge, and if they
Yeah.
could execute. The last seven teams, Mike. Here they are. Here is your top seven teams of the 32 who are ranked the highest to have the probability to make the
Yeah.
playoffs. Next team on that list is Kansas City, Mike, 98.1% chance of making the postseason.
They're gonna win their division.
The Detroit Lions,
Yep.
98.5% chance of making the postseason. We're down to your top five teams. According to this list, Mike, Baltimore has a 98.8% chance probability of making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't finish below second in the division.
And here is your top four. Miami, 99.4% chance of making the postseason this year. Dallas, 99.9% chance of making the postseason this season. And finally, the top two teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers, are both on this probability sheet, 100% probability of making the
Yeah.
postseason.
Yeah, the 49ers, there's no way they're gonna lose that division. Same thing with Philly, Jalen Hurts is a little banged up and they can fall to number 2 in the NFC East. And my God, that
They
would drop
still
them
have Dallas,
down.
don't they? They played the Cowboys, if I'm not
Oh,
mistaken.
I'm pulling up their schedule real
Because
quick.
if they do, that's going to be one of the biggest games of
Oh,
the
it's
year.
this week. It's this
This
week.
week is Cowboys and
Yeah,
Eagles.
yeah, the 10th. They play on the 10th, Cowboys Eagles.
Wow, and I hate that division, and I don't care for any of those teams. But you know what? That's going to be the game of the week to watch.
Oh, without a
Because if
doubt.
Dallas wins that football game, then they're tied. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Philadelphia won the first one, but
And Dak's getting a lot of talk now for MVP. Jalen Hurts is hurt, he's banged up. So
don't get me wrong.
interesting.
I like the Cowboys like I like Jokic, but it comes down to it that it is what it is. The Dallas Cowboys have a chance to, and the thing is, they're just that little bit behind the best team in the league record wise.
Yeah.
Philadelphia only having 2 losses, so it's going to be interesting. I will be keeping an eye on that game for sure. What time of day is that? 4-something game, Mike?
No, so that's the 8:20 game
On Sunday.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. So that is, Mike, your list of playoff probability percentage with 5 weeks to go in the NFL. Eddie, everything seem right to you on that? Any
Yeah. Yeah, nothing really shocking other than
yeah.
the fact that how far our probability dropped. Like
That's
25,
wild.
like
Well, you lose to a
25%.
2-win team. If
Yeah.
Dallas would lose to a 2-win team right now, I'm sure they would drop pretty significantly as well.
Hey, Arizona Cardinals, man, they're 2 of their big wins, Steelers and Cowboys.
2 of their 3 wins.
Hey,
who was their other win? If you got a second,
hold on, give me 1 second. Let me pull it up. What should be someone equally as bad as them?
I know.
Beat the
They beat the Falcons.
They beat the Falcons 25
here, he could be fetching this information.
Like, look, they beat the second place team of the NFC East and AFC North in the Cowboys and Steelers, and they beat the number 1 team in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons. They are giant slayers, baby. So that loss against the Cardinals is looking better and better. Once you like dig down deep,
that loss is looking fantastic.
You analyze and who they've beat.
Yeah,
giant slayers, man. So
I wish they could.
I'm trying to find anything positive.
Did they play the Ravens yet? That's the question.
I'm
sure. I think the Ravens killed them.
That was a 31-24 game. That was a tight game.
While this is going on, Mike, the Steelers managed to drop seven spaces in the power rankings for the week 14's power rankings. They drop all the way down to 16. So they are at the halfway mark of the 32 teams. The Steelers sit at 16. There's no more in the middle of the pack than that.
No.
But and as you would suspect, most things are basically the same way if you would go through the power pool as they are with the possibilities percentage of getting into the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs. 49ers sit up top, though. I believe them and the Eagles were up top the other list as well. Ravens, Dolphins, Cowboys, Lions, Chiefs, Jags, Texans, Colts, Bills, Packers, Rams, Broncos, Browns, Steelers. That's a lot of teams ahead of us for us being the number 5 seed. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Because you figure the Ravens on this, according to the power rankings, the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, the Jags, the Texans, the Colts, the Bills, the Broncos, and the Browns. That's 9 teams ahead
Ooh.
of us in the power rankings. However, only 4 teams sit ahead of us in the playoffs.
You know what? That's why the NFL, the power rankings aren't thankfully are not factored in. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with the BCS or whatever the new system is in college. Because if that was the case, my God, the Eagles might be out of the playoffs if Jalen Hurts is hurt.
I sure wish we played the NFC South again this year like we did
Oh,
last
me
year.
too. Why can't we be in the NFC South?
Because that damn, they're, as things are right now, these games have become a lot more difficult, Mike, with
Yeah, there
the
it's
Seattle and the
well,
Ravens
like even
and the
people.
Bengals aren't going to be easy this time with
No,
Browning getting
no,
fired up. The guy had 359 yards,
yeah,
led the NFL last week in passing it, led the
led,
NFL.
yeah, and they still have all their weapons on offense. They have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, that Joe Mixon's starting to heat up. So they still have weapons. It's not like they're a trash team. You just have to have a quarterback who can get the ball there on time and accurately. And Browning was able to do that. You know,
As I
Gardner
mentioned,
Minshew coming up. He's a fighter of a quarterback. He will scratch claw his way to get that team to win, and that's kind of what we have at quarterback. So it's an even matchup there. Geno Smith, career resurgence last year and is carrying over to this year, and they have weapons on offense. And then the Ravens, we know that. We know them. We know that's going to be a dogfight. So it's going to be a tight one down the stretch.
as I mentioned, week 13 was just what we played last week. Passing leaders, Jake Browning was number 1, 359 yards. Geno Smith, number 2, 334 yards. Brock Purdy was third with 314. Gardner
Ooh.
Minshew was fourth with 312, and Dak Prescott with 299.
So like three quarterbacks that we have to face down the stretch.
3 of the last 5 games, and yeah.
Yeah, easy. It's an easy schedule for us.
Who's the other team we got? New England this week. We got these 4. Who's the other team
We go New England at the Colts, Bengals at home, at Seattle, and at Baltimore to close it out.
wait? Who's next week?
We're Patriots at Indy, Bengals at home, at Seattle, at Baltimore.
Jeez,
Yeah.
it's like the last 3 games are all these top
Yeah.
quarterbacks from like. Hey man,
Yeah, and that Seahawks game happens to be New Year's Eve. So, we can be either ringing in the new year on a win or on a loss.
and the
Yay.
good, and the
Even
thing
if
is,
we win, we're going to be depressed because it's going to be an ugly win.
and even if you get the Baltimore Ravens in that last week, they could be the team that shuts the door on us and shuts the door on our season. That's always a defeating.
Yeah, you don't want that hanging over your head at the end of the year. You don't want them to have that. Hopefully that no, because even then, if they have it wrapped up and we're fighting for a spot, they would do everything in their power to kick our asses to keep us out of the playoffs.
You're right. Oh, there's no two ways about it.
No,
One comment that I do want to read, Mike. This is something that I found. You may have seen this already. This is written by Brian Hess. Brian Hess. This is a comment on Mike Tomlin. It's time for Mike Tomlin to actually answer for the terrible preparation and performance of his team. It's time to stop allowing him to offer up politician-like responses to every issue that exists on his team and be open and honest. Mike, where is the thing is right now there's a lot of strong opinions both ways with Mike Tomlin, and I'm kind of following this, and I don't know where I fall. I don't know where I land. Mike, what's your take on what Brian Hess had to say?
Oh. The Steelers media, they ask the questions, but Tomlin dances around them. He'll give the answer he wants to give. The players could like every game that we've lost, like you see, they come out, except for I want to say maybe that 49ers game, they came out looking sharp, like, oh, we have a chance in this game. Then it just falls apart. So is that preparation or is that just hey, we shot our shot and it failed, and the other team was just better. So I always hate that it's on the coaches for lack of, oh, this team doesn't look ready to play. Like, you can game plan all week. You can tell your guys all week, hey, we need you to be at your best. But by the time at that point, once that whistle goes off and that ball's kicked, it's on the players now to execute. Now, what I will question Tomlin on is, tactics, usage of the game clock, usage of challenges, stuff like that. But preparation, I've really never seen the team come out there and look lost from the opening snap.
What
It usually takes a drive or two to then they see lost, and to me, that's when it comes a player issue.
what do you feel is the overall morale in the locker room right now?
Mm, mm. I want to say going into last week, it was they were probably feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
They're sitting at what, 7-4. Offense had one of
You
its
got
best yardage at
two
out.
2-win teams coming up on
Yeah.
your schedule.
And then I think after this one, I think like Ben Roethlisberger said it best on his podcast and on DVE. Like they're probably humbled, angry, and mad all in one.
I hope that
And
they are. They need to
yeah,
be.
and like hearing like comments from the players, like Deontay Johnson, he was talking to the media. He had that look on his face of like he was just, I don't want to say despondent, but he disappointed in the effort that they gave out on the field, and that's okay to have that, to be that way. I want the players to show that. I don't want them to come out there, oh yeah, it was one of those games. No, they need to come out there and they own it. And you're seeing like people that are been on this team for a while, they're owning that. They're owning that disappointment. They let not just them, like the team down, themselves down, the coaches down, but like the fans down. They let everyone down, and they're showing it. I think the morale is still okay, still good, because I don't think Tomlin's going to lose this team like people were saying. They got rid of Canada, and I think that helped. But I think I'm looking for this team to come out firing Thursday night. If they don't, then that's when I'm going to be worried, because that'll be two back to back. That'll be back to back weeks where they shit the bed. And Eddie Faulkner, he was asked, why haven't the Steelers had back to back losses this year, and he said Mike Tomlin. That shows that Tomlin's not going to allow that to happen. And that's one
But
thing
on the
we've
other
noticed, like with
hand,
Tomlin and Cowher, is you never really had back to back losses. They
but
found a way
that's
to
on one
rally.
hand, it's I mean, Tomlin has these guys up and ready so they don't have back-to-back losses, but
But
yet,
then, like, how do you lose that game right
right,
there?
how do you lose your
So
right?
it's like it's, yeah, I know too, as soon as I'm saying it, but at the same time though too, like, well, I don't know. It's like maybe the players respond differently to that. Oh my God, we got our asses kicked. We don't want to feel that way again back to back weeks.
Let me
Or
ask you this.
Tomlin's saying something throughout the week, giving them shit, and they don't want to go through that negative process again.
Say we continue on the path that we're on,
Uh huh.
having a winning season, I'm 10 wins, 9 wins, seasons like this, but not getting to the playoffs, not winning a playoff game. How long do you think before Mike Tomlin is serious threat of being on the hot
Yeah.
seat? I mean, how much more? Because on one hand, I mean, there's a lot of teams that would love to
Mm-hmm.
have this guy. They would
Yeah.
love to have this particular
Yeah.
success that we've been having. But the Steelers, they expect more. The Steeler fans, they expect more. The people that love this team, they want to see this team win. And at some point, it is going to come to that. How long do you think, Mike, that this team can stay
Mm.
mediocre? Again,
Yeah.
they're above water with their record,
Yeah.
but how long before Tomlin is realistically on the hot seat?
I want to say not this year, maybe next year.
Really?
Next year, yeah, because that's going to be, usually once you get tied in with a quarterback, you're in with their window.
Right.
And most quarterbacks, you can know if that quarterback's going to be the guy within 3 years.
All
And
right.
I that's it's like he went out of his way. Him and Colbert went out of their way to draft a quarterback in the first round, the guy that they thought would be the guy.
Right.
And right now it's been up and down, up and down. And next year, if we don't see that big growth, that's going to be tied in with Tomlin, man, and that might be it.
It's
And
going to
I
be
hope they don't
interesting.
fire him. I hope they try and do it, trade him.
I seen some
That's people are like
speculation
that's like his best value. A
about
team will
trading him
trade
to
for him.
the Commanders. I was reading something this morning with
Yeah.
so who knows? That's a possibility down the road, I guess. But we do have the New England Patriots tomorrow night, and
Hmm.
then we won't play again until the following Saturday, where we get you say the Colts. Colts are after them,
Yeah.
and that one's in Indianapolis. So it's not going to get any easier. This is a must-win game for the
Hmm.
Steelers. You can't lose this game. Another team with 2 wins at home. You can't lose both of these games and expect to go on through Gardner Minshew and the Colts, to go on through Jake Browning and the Bengals, to go through Geno Smith and the Seahawks, who are all three top five leading passers last week, and then finally the
Hmm.
game against the Ravens and Lamar. So this game, Mike, this is a must win. This is the biggest game of
Hmm.
their season against the
Yeah.
Patriots with their 2 wins coming to town.
Yeah. And so if, say if the Steelers win, go 2-3 down this stretch, is that enough? Do you think that's enough to get them into the playoffs?
Going to be interesting because there's a lot of teams right at the door behind us. If you
Oh,
look at
I
those teams
know.
sitting right outside there with the 6-6, six and
Yeah.
six records, I
Hmm.
don't know. It's
Yeah.
going to
It's going to be
and
a
a lot of
tough
these
one.
teams, Mike, we're going to be
Yeah.
facing. We faced the Colts who are sitting there with that
Yeah.
kind of who are
Yeah.
right with us in the play.
Hmm.
So it's very interesting. This game is the
Yeah.
biggest game of their season at this point. No two ways about it. You lose, I
Yeah.
think this team is more than likely done.
Yeah. And that like that Cardinals loss,
And should
that's
they
going to
not
be.
be done if you do lose to 2 games in a row
Yeah,
with
you
two
should
win
be done
teams?
at that point. Like that Browns loss, I don't think people are going to point to that one like, oh, that's when the season went off the
All
rails. Like,
right, no.
I don't think so. Like you like that defense was on a generational pace at that point. You know,
Yeah, that
and
definitely wasn't the game.
and they
It was
did
last
just
week.
enough.
Last week was the turning point. If this goes,
Last week was it, man.
if they go into this free for all and free fall, and it is the way that the season goes, last week's game is that turning
That's the
point.
turning point. Yeah,
Absolutely. I'll go to the grave with that. Last week was the
yeah.
game.
Like
That's
that Browns loss does not bother me because I think we were
no.
even talking about it like before it happened. Like it could happen with the way that defense is
Well,
playing
too.
and
I mean, their division. We always say that.
yep.
Even when we're good and they're not, they could squeak a win out.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened where we've been a really good team and they've been a trash team and they won.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. Brian on the board says, take out all those fourth quarter comebacks Ben and Kenny have in the past 3 seasons. Those records will reflect more on how good the Steelers really are. I mean, you're not really wrong, and I don't think you're
Yeah.
100% right either. Because at the end of the day, you look at the statistics and the standings, and 30 years from now, nobody's going to remember that's how it went down. They're going to look back and they're going to say, you know what, this team ended 9-7, and it all fell apart after this particular point, which was a 2-win team. So I don't know. I don't 100% agree with. I don't 100% disagree with you.
Yeah.
You are right. Don't get
Yeah.
me
Because
wrong. You
I
are.
guarantee you there's a lot of the games in that window that like, oh, they had no chance of winning. But there's also probably a handful of games that like it should not have been that close to where they had to have had a comeback. They should have had it on hand.
Because I mean, there was a lot of things that happened in games that we're not speaking out at the time. It could have been this, it could have been that could have changed the pace of a game. But you're right; those numbers aren't wrong either, Brian. So, Mike, I do want to get into a little bit around the NFL here before we move forward. Some teams making changes to improve as they're making their run down the stretch here. Sue is expected to sign with the Eagles, 36-year-old defensive lineman. Now, say what you want about this Sue, but this Eagles team, they're packing it on and they're getting ready for the run. They just picked up Shaquille
Yeah.
Abraham. They picked up Sue.
Leonard.
This Leonard. I'm sorry, and they're getting ready
Shaquille
to move
Abraham.
forward. And this is what teams that are winning and teams that have a good chance and good teams are doing right now. They're positioning themselves to make a good run.
Yeah.
We're right now trying to figure if we're good enough to win a game against a 2-win team after a loss against a 2-win team. So, this is what's going on.
What does Sue have left in the tank though? At 36,
You know what? It doesn't
wasn't that
matter because
he
their
wasn't
defense
that
is already
productive.
loaded. He's depth at this point. And you know what? That's not bad depth. He's better than a lot of the. I would take him as a depth player at this point. But and
I'm
also,
more afraid he's going to step on someone's head and cost me 15
you
yards.
know what?
Dude's
And
still a nut.
if that's the case, it's no worse than having
Yeah.
dumb penalties on special teams that cost you 15.
Yeah,
Also,
that
Mike,
did not happen. Miles Killebrew was targeted unfairly.
also the Lions signing former Steelers defensive tackle Tyson Olo, the 13-year vet, is the Lions are starting to stack their depth now to make their run toward the postseason. So you do see the difference between the teams that are doing well and the teams that aren't doing well. And unfortunately, at this point, we fall in the wrong column.
Hey, we signed Miles
Ugh.
Jack,
We signed a plumber,
electrician,
an electrician. Same
and
thing.
who knows how to fly his own plane. Okay, so we hired, we signed Maverick. Okay, from Top Gun. He can fly. He's Maverick. Okay, we
We
have Tom Cruise on our defense.
we got Goose. Wasn't Goose the one that ejected into
Yeah,
the
up
cockpit
into the
window?
canopy and died.
That's what we have. We have Goose.
We have Goose. 22 starters, and I think 20 of them are Goose.
Yeah. Um. Also, Mike, in football, games in the XFL and the USFL to be broadcasted on ESPN, ABC, and Fox this year. The new merger,
Uh,
they're cutting out.
mm,
They're cutting out the Peacock subscriptions. They're cutting out NBC. It is going to be all TV, ESPN, ABC, Fox for the
huh.
new XFL, USFL.
Yeah, I look for the NFL to start working with that league in a few years.
Oh,
If you're going to be on
absolutely.
ESPN, not maybe as a true minor league system, but as
There's going to
you
be
know,
something. They're going to
there's going to be as an
like the
experimental league,
WWE. It gets to a
like
point where there's an
yeah,
offer that you can't refuse, and it's going to eventually happen
it's
with
going to be like
this.
a not a true developmental, but hey, we're thinking about this rule change. How about you guys run with it? Okay, yeah,
Like,
we'll try it out.
or you now, I know that we lost the Pittsburgh Maulers team, unfortunately,
Mhm.
but last year after the Super Bowl, we did pay close attention. We talked quite often
Yeah,
about the XFL and the USFL, the
yeah,
spring leagues in football, of
I
course.
liked it.
Are you excited now? I mean, are you excited about
Yeah,
the
I'll watch it. I thought was it NFL quality football? No, but NFL quality football right now is not the smoothest product. There's a lot of bad
right?
games being played. 6-0, last week between the Chargers and the Patriots. So yeah, I'll watch the XFL.
You remember back in
Hey, dude,
1992?
the beer snake. As long as that team from the
I love the
USFL that
beer
had the
snake.
beer snake is in this league, I am watching it. I am team beer snake
It's
all the way.
innovative.
Was it DC?
It's
I
innovative.
think.
I love the beer
Yeah,
snake.
I forget who for. Might have been DC.
Washington,
Yeah, yeah.
DC.
That was a better environment than watching a Commanders game.
Mike, also, don't get me wrong. I would rather watch that DC Defenders team over the
Yeah,
Commanders.
that's who they were. Yeah,
Um, I forgot where I was going to go next with that, but I
I
did.
don't know. I
I'm
like that little
excited.
drone flying around the field from the
Yeah,
USFL.
I
I thought
like
that
it.
was
There's
great.
there's nothing that I don't like, and again, it's
Like
it's football.
yeah,
You
like
know,
the zip line camera that the NFL has. That was the original XFL idea that they
right?
stole. Maybe
In
maybe they can adopt their kickoff style. The NFL can. I like that.
in college, this one's big, Mike. Ohio State wide receiver Julian Fleming, who was former number one player in Pennsylvania in high
Hmm.
school and a top wide receiver in the nation in college, is hitting the college football portal, Mike.
No way.
He was a miss by Penn State. Apparently, a lot of uh,
Hmm.
it came back to why couldn't Penn State pull this kid? Where is Julian Fleming going to land? And again, this is a nice place that Derpy could certainly insert his opinion because he is an Ohio State guy. Mike, this Julian Fleming, interesting.
Yeah. His production went way down because 2022 was his quote unquote breakout year. Like I have a stat now. 34 catches, 533 yards, 6 touchdowns. He got, he's buried down the depth chart. There's so many great wide receivers there.
What year is he in? What year is he going in?
This will be his fifth year.
Okay.
So it'll be a fifth year senior coming back. Penn State needs some help, buddy. Come home. Come home. Come home.
So there you have that. That's pretty big. And
That is
again,
big, man. Like
after
that receiving core, man. They're gonna lose him. This year they're gonna lose Marvin Harrison Jr. in the draft. Emeka Ugubaka. I messed his name up. I apologize. And now they're going to miss Fleming. They're going to lose a lot of receivers. They're going to lose their quarterback. But this is Ohio State. They'll reload. But Julian Fleming, Penn State,
and,
baby.
and
We
just
need we
after
need
we
receivers, baby.
just talked about Kyle McCord yesterday. Also, the
Yeah.
quarterback up in Ohio State that's entering the transfer portal as well.
Mhm.
So maybe the mighty is getting ready to fall up there in
I don't think so.
Columbus, Ohio.
I would hope. I hope, but it's not. I don't know, man. Ryan Day might run that goal into the ground, and I'm here for it.
That's what I hear. A lot of people don't like this Ryan Day guy.
You
What's
have one job, and that's beat Michigan, and he can't do it.
is that what the deal is?
Yeah, because you figure you're gonna win 10, 11 games,
All
10
right.
games a year. That one you have to win is the Michigan game. And you realize, oh, maybe 1 year Penn State upsets you. Okay, fine, that happens, but you better beat Michigan. And they can't do that.
Right. Well, Michigan, of course, is the number one team in the country, so you
Can't take it
can't
away from
discredit that.
no. But still, you got to beat them. That's like Pittsburgh, man. You have to beat Baltimore. Baltimore, you have to beat Pittsburgh. Doesn't matter how good they are or how bad you are. You have to win that game.
Mike, I'm going to shoot you a saucer pass over under the ice. The Pittsburgh Penguins back in action tonight. They traveled down to Tampa Bay, where they just traveled about a week and a week ago, and they pulled out a win down there. Mike, the Penguins coming in with an 11-10-3 record are going to be going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning with the 11-10-5 record tonight at 7 o'clock. I don't know for sure, but it seems like this would be a jarry start. Mike, what do you think about tonight's Penguins Lightning game in Florida?
Is there a must-win game in hockey at this early stage in December? Because it is. Like they need to
Yeah.
get their shit together.
And you think about their power play, they're going to get it at some point, and everyone's going to get all
I don't think they
excited.
are. I don't think they are. I think they'll have an explosion for a game or two, but they're stubborn. They're set in their ways. Mike Sullivan, stubborn, set in his ways. But you know what? It's okay.
This is how Penguins seasons go. They have something where they're just so far down, and then the roller coaster takes over. Next thing you know, they're like so good, people will be like, "Wow, look at this power play! Look!" And then all of a sudden, it'll just go to shit again, and it will be terrible. And it just seems like that's kind of the roller coaster that the Penguins have. Things like this,
Yeah.
and the power play is certainly we're no stranger to
I
these
just
power play issues.
no, it's just frustrating. It's like all like I've been saying, you have four future Hall of Famers in Jake Gensel, and you can't figure it out.
I agree. I don't disagree with you
It's
at all.
you have Mike Sullivan, who people around here act like the greatest hockey coach ever. He can't figure it out. Mm, It's
It's gonna be
frustrating because like 5-on-5, like Crosby's line is one of the best lines in hockey.
Crosby
And
scored 1 million goals so far this season.
yeah,
Even strength. Come on.
yeah, yeah. Even like Gensel he's on a pretty good pace. He has 28 points right now, 9 goals, 19 assists. Crosby's playing well, Malkin's playing well. Like
But you give them a man advantage. They can't get it
they
done.
can't do it because come on now. We've known the power play since the 90s. Pass, 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 pass. Oh, net's open. No, got to pass because the pass that I received wasn't pretty enough. It's like just
I
put them in and
admire
rip
these
it.
teams that have good power play teams.
It's frustrating.
I
It's
just
because we used to have a damn good power plays
yeah.
in Pittsburgh, and it's just frustrating.
Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
Get me all on a downer, then gotta talk about the website. The2dumbyinzers.com. Head on over there for all your Two Dumb Yinzers needs, baby. Links for all of our socials are on there. Links for Spotify is on there. Merch store links on there. Go get your Two Dumb Yinzers merch, baby. I wouldn't say buy that KP to GP merch, but my God, I think that's only connected twice. These guys are killing me. I make that and they can't complete a pass or catch the ball. But yeah, all at the2dumbyinzers.com.
We might be we might have helmet head merch available soon.
Might.
All right.
That might be the one that's once I get that made, then the team will turn it around.
There you go. I hope you're right.
Boys are killing me.
My question of the day. Question of the day. The New England Patriots is who we're playing. So this is going to be the question of the day. It'll be a Patriots question. Play on the board at home as well. Mike, the question of the day is this.
Yes.
What quarterback did Tom Brady replace in 2001 and eventually lead the Patriots to a Super Bowl championship? Mike, I have a feeling that you might know this one. Take a minute to think about it. If you want choices, I'll certainly give you choices. But we're live, everybody, 5 days a week right here from 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock p.m. And every show that we do live every day, we upload over on Spotify in podcast form. Say you're in the gym, say you're in the car, and you just want to listen to the show, you could always go over to Spotify and play every episode. Every episode we've ever did, I believe, is over there. So go check it out on Spotify.
Every episode is on Spotify.
All right. My question of the day, the Patriots question, what quarterback did Tom Brady replace in 2001 and eventually led the Patriots to a Super Bowl championship? Now, P on the board says Bledsoe, but
Yes.
let me hold on. Let
You're
me
gonna
let me
paint a
paint
picture.
let me paint the picture. So on Monday, the question I don't recall what it was, but the answer was Curtis Martin, and Mike had picked Drew Bledsoe.
It was like
Yes,
a player
rookie of
MVP
the
type
year or
rookie of the year
something.
or something. Yeah.
Yesterday, the question yesterday was who was co MVP of the All Pro game in 1999 from the Patriots. Mike said Drew Bledsoe, which again was incorrect. It was Ty Law. Today,
Mhm.
Mike, here's your chance. Here's your chance to make amends. What quarterback did Tom Brady replace in 2001, who eventually led the Patriots to a Super Bowl championship? P on the board says Bledsoe. Brian says Curtis Martin. Mike, who are you going to say?
Drew Bledsoe, baby.
Bledsoe. You sure this time?
I am
I,
a
I won't. I,
100%
I
positive
won't hit
this
the lock
time.
in button until I'm sure that you're sure. Are you sure?
I am 100% sure.
All right, positive.
I am positive.
If the next word's out of my mouth from Pittsburgh or what come out, are you going to be surprised?
It it better be
All
Drew
right,
Bledsoe. If
Kurt.
not, I'm questioning reality.
All right, got you locked in on Drew Bledsoe, guys. What quarterback? What quarterback did Tom Brady replace in 2001 and eventually led the Patriots to a Super Bowl championship? On the board, we have Martin, we have Bledsoe. Mike, you said Drew Bledsoe. The
Mm-hmm.
answer is
Don't leave me hanging.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
I
See,
believe the
I knew I'd eventually get it right with
I
Drew
believe the
Bledsoe.
I believe the injury was a chest injury, if I'm not mistaken. It was on
Yeah.
the sideline. The dude hit him as he was going out, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When he came in, we were like, oh, we're gonna win this game.
Mike, you literally said Drew Bledsoe for every answer this week. You realize that?
Well, he's like the only one I remember was Drew Bledsoe. Okay. I'm old. My
So
brain is getting smooth as my head. Information's not being retained.
I do want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We
Yes,
thank
yes, we
everybody on the
do.
board. You guys always keep it interesting. Mike, anything before we get ready to take off for the day?
Uh, don't take your opponents lightly.
There you go. Now you sound like Derpy. That sounds like a Derpy.
Well, no, because the Steelers have been accused of
Don't take
taking.
your don't take your
Uh,
opponents lightly.
hey, I'm just quoting Deontay Johnson saying, we can't make that same mistake.
All right. I have to say this. What is this NBA in-season tournament? I just seen this. Is this something? Apparently it's something new. I've never seen it in my life until maybe last year. I don't
Yeah,
recall. But this in-season tournament, it's kind of an interesting thing. I don't understand the concept. Maybe we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
yeah.
But the in-season tournament, that's interesting. So they play the 82 games plus this
Plus
tournament.
that, yeah. Who do they think they are? Europe in their football tournaments in
So
season. I don't get it. I don't like it.
all right, you don't like it. All right. So we
I
will
don't like
talk a
it. We'll
little bit
talk
more
about that
about that.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Absolutely. That looks like it's it, Mike. Anything else? Speak
I got
now or forever
nothing.
hold your peace.
I got nothing. There's nothing on the Twitter that really popped up. So, yeah, I got nothing. Don't
All right.
underestimate your opponents. I had to
All
throw
right.
that in there for Derpy since he's not around.
All right. That was for Derpy.
That was for Derpy.
All right.
Derpy.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for checking us out.
Yes.
Tomorrow we'll be talking some high school football as the state playoff championships get ready to take off tomorrow through the weekend into the weekend. We talk a little about that, and of course, the big story tomorrow is Thursday night football: Steelers versus the Patriots. I'm sure we'll hit that hard.
I
So
can't wait.
come back, see us tomorrow, and we'll talk all about it. Other
Hell
than that,
yeah.
everybody, for the two Dumb Yinzers, Mike, myself,